Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to be running an insulated shallow water line to the tiny house. Hopefully I can record this with all of this wind. Should be fine down there. Alright, the first thing I need to do, we have the lateral which ends right there and it has a piece of cut pipe on it. I need to get down there and take that piece of pipe off, and then we'll grab the piece that I just showed you and route it around to there. I'll explain what's going on with this stuff when we get to it, but first we'll get that pipe connected right there. Okay, let me give you a quick overview of the job here. That is the lateral on that side of that valve down there. That's the lateral going to the main line, which crosses right out there. So it comes up and it goes to this curb stop, which is a shutoff valve. That came up above the ground, and you stick your key in there and turn it, and there's a rod that'll turn that valve and open or close it. At some point, because this used to be like a driveway here, kind of still is, somebody hit it with a vehicle and bent the rod so you could not turn this on and off anymore. So when we dug this ditch, we actually broke the water line and the ditch started filling up. I'll show you some video of that real quick. So that was an hour or two of panic. What we did was turned off the water up at the well, and he got down here and took the curb stop off of it. Now you could just turn the valve. You could turn that with a wrench. That was no problem. The problem was in the curb stop itself. So got the water shut off and took that hydrant out of here. We're not going to be using a hydrant over here. So we have these big boulders on the land here. They're everywhere. Got one right here, got one right there, and one on top of that. They're just massive. There's no way to move them without taking out a huge area, and that's just not going to happen. So what we're going to do is connect our line, our water line, right there. We're going to abandon that valve. We're going to leave it open, or it's closed right now. Once we get the water line in here, I'm going to open that up and test it. If everything is good, I'm going to close it, and we're going to abandon that right there. So the water line, I'm going to have to smooth this off a bit. We got a ramp going here. We filled in the steps here. Let me show you what these rocks look like real quick so you can see what we're dealing with here. So we filled in between the edge of that rock and the edge of this rock, made a ramp, and then for the edge of this rock, we ramped it down as best as possible. My daughter's boyfriend did this, and I believe he stopped about right here. I'm going to continue that over to the valve, and we're going to make a nice smooth ramp all the way up here. So the line will rest on some pretty stable ground. It's not going to have any dips or anything like that. They're going to force it to break later. So we're going to come up to, this is the outside of the building right here. It's going to be right about here. So we're going to put the curb stop right around here. And what I did is modify the curb stop so it's shallower. So that's going to be about 5 feet tall. It's going to come up to about here. That's the water shut off for the building. And then after the curb stop, it's going to go into here somewhere and then come up into the building. It's going to come up inside of a cabinet, and I'm going to be doing some special stuff with it because there's air space under here. I'm going to have to insulate it so that doesn't freeze during the winter, because the building's going to be used in the winter. It'll get pretty interesting. The water line in this area right here is going to be covered in 2-inch foam all the way back until we get 6 feet under the ground, which is right about here. I'm 6'4", so yeah, that's about right. Right about here, it's going to be insulated from here all the way back to there, and then insulated all the way up out of the ground there. And then we have, for the curb stop, we have a different valve than this one. This one, when you shut it off, the water remains in both sides of the pipe. The curb stop that we're going to be putting in here, when you shut it off, it'll drain all the water on the building side of the pipe. So as soon as you shut it off, the water will drain down into the ditch here. I did that with the wood shop as well, so I'll put a link to that video in the description below. It'll actually drain down into like a gravel system, but I'll show you that as we're putting it together. Okay, let's get going. We'll get this little bit of poly pipe off there, clean the end of that, and pull that water line down here. Okay, let me show you what I did here. I measured over from the building to the center of where the pipe is going to come up into the building. Then I measured from the grade beam over to the center of the pipe, and then put a screw in there, and I have a plumb bob going down. Now I'm going to rough cut a piece that'll be that distance right there, get the elbow on, figure out the exact distance, and then cut it, get it attached to here. Then I'll straighten out some of this pipe a bit, bend it the opposite way, heat it up or whatever. It's got to go straight up, and then I'll attach that, move this half of the diameter of the pipe, because this is set right on the center, move it half of the diameter of the pipe that way, and then attach the pipe to it with a clamp. And then I have the parts. I have another fitting right here that'll go on to the top. Oh, they're over there. That'll go on to the top of it. I'll put a hose bib on it, and then we'll put a hose on it, run it over that way, and turn the water on. Check for leaks, and then if there's no leaks, we can continue, but that will be tomorrow. I got to get sand underneath all of this stuff, and the sand is at the dump. I may have to make a couple trips. So tomorrow when the dump's open, I'll get sand and do all that stuff. So I'll probably end this video with the water test today, and then we'll do the insulating and stuff tomorrow. So let me get that piece of pipe for the distance over there to the elbow cut, and we'll keep moving on this. I gotta hurry up and record before the wind picks up again. It is really windy today, and there's some really powerful gusts. All right, I'll have to align this exactly where it needs to go later, but the entire thing is in place. Now I need to test everything up to this valve, and all I need to do that is turn the valve on over there. If it doesn't leak here or at the other end, then I can put that other stuff on the top here and run the hose and then test the entire thing. Okay, this makes me kind of nervous, because if this were to like pop off, I would have to sit here and mess with this valve until I got it shut off, and the trench would be filling up the entire time. All right, I'm sure you heard that. The valve is open. I don't hear any leaks, which is a good sign. Okay. Looks like it's good to go. All right, this next fitting, I need to put this in the vise. I have a barb for the end of the plastic there, and then I just need to couple these two together. Then I have a shutoff right there. But I don't want water splashing all over here, so like I said, I'll attach a hose to that and run it out into the yard. So let me go get these two connected, and then we'll get this on the end and give it another test. Okay, I went and assembled the end for this, and I got that in place. My camera died in the meantime, so I have my backup camera here, but that should do the trick. All right, there it is. All it is that hose barb fitting, a couple other fittings, and then a hose bib there. Hopefully this works out just fine. Oh, it's coming out. Forgot about that. Until the valve is all the way open, it sprays out of that little hole there. Well, that's good. That'll clean out the hole. And it looks like we have success. It's not leaking all the way to the end. Now I'm going to run the hose for a while and clean the lines out. Then we'll shut this off and see if this leaks after a couple hours, but I think we're good to go. I'd like that stuff to dry up and make darn sure that we don't have any wetness down here. Good, good, good. You could see a little bit of brown coming out. This will clear out the lines. I'm going to run this over to my trees across the street and water them tomorrow while I'm working on the other stuff, and that'll get everything nice and cleaned out. Okay, what I'm going to do now is take a 5/16 socket wrench and give these a couple clicks, and that should do it for today. Like I said, I have to get sand for the bottom of this, and then we have to do all of that foam and stuff. So it's going to take at least another day. I can probably get it done in one day if it's not as hot as it is today. It's 94 degrees today, so it's just miserable out here. Okay, let me get that socket wrench and give those a couple clicks, and then we should be good to go. Alright, I'm going to wrap this video up. This is day 10 after my appendix surgery, and the doctor told me not to do this kind of stuff for 30 days. But I helped my son-in-law work on a deck this last weekend, and I got this done. So, no leaks. That spot right there is from the blowout from the self-draining. This water is, I think it's about 50 degrees and it's 95 out. So as I was running the water, I got a huge amount of condensation, but that already evaporated. So I'll let it evaporate down there. You could still see beads of condensation on the pipe down there, here and there. I'll let that dry out, and I'll come out here a little bit later and double check and make sure it's not leaking, but I don't think it's gonna leak. I think we got a good job here. So like I said, tomorrow we're gonna dump a bunch of sand in here, get the pipe positioned, get the riser pipe positioned, and then we'll backfill this a bit. We'll get the curb stop installed, and I believe that'll be it. At least, or no, we have to insulate this. This will get insulated, then the curb stop will be installed, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the riser pipe in there tomorrow, but the riser pipe has to get in there as well, and that has insulation around it. That'll come straight up here, and the insulation will be attached to here, and when we have a joist in here, it'll be attached to the joist. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have to leave part of it off so I can get a joist hanger in there and then glue that part in later on. I'll get it figured out tonight, and we'll continue on this tomorrow. So if you want to see the curb stop installation, the insulation, and the padding of the pipe, that'll all be tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.